Hello guys, welcome back to Logical. As always, as is, whenever it comes to Predecessor, I am working on bigger projects because the day-to-day content, yeah, it's fun for shorts, but it's no good for, like, it's, how do you even put it? It's no good for, like, long-lasting content. So actually trying to work on teaching people is more of what I'm leaning into at the minute. So it is, so, temporary. Now, main thing is, 1.16, we'll get through it. Again, I do recommend you go watch the Scarlet overview because she's going to be strong. My hair is a mess. Right. With that fixed. Right. Scarlet is going to be possibly one of the strongest characters to date. That's just going to be what it is. Her kit is far too diverse and very well balanced. So, not well balanced, far too diverse, and then very powerful, because as it says, her passive Last Light energy from mana additionally gains 1 physical power for every bonus mana she owns, which means a mana stacker build, aka combining, Mind Razor and Resolution on her, could be a devastatingly potent mix, as well as anything that gives her mana like Alternator. Combine that with Demiurge, and basically she's got more physical power than she knows what to do with. Building her defensively is still going to be very hard. Her basic attack is similar to Bale's, so it is, which is quite interesting. Ashen Vow, which is her primary. She swings the lantern, and then so it's very like Adele's. So it is, where she'll spin, and if she catches you properly, then she'll do a slam, which makes her very, very dangerous. First intent, that there's her spiraling dash, which gives her a shield. Again, for diving, very dangerous. This one here is our 3-hit strike, so it is. Towards in her current direction, speed increases the current momentum, jabs 3 times. This will be more or less her poke, or her possibly primary damage, so it could be. And then Swung Stone, that is going to be messing up team fights. That's an end of story situation there. Scarlet's Dawn, first intense secondary, mobility, ability, improved Sindara, and the third strike hits carry leaders, reduce first intense cooldown. Okay. Coup de grace, which is Swung Song's ultimate. Swung Song marks and restricts target. If they die within that, a blaze for 5 seconds and a fiery zone appears beneath the dead target and heals yourself. Very similar to what Countess does. And then you've got Volcanic Slam, Ashen Vow, Zone Control, in the Enhancing Dial leaves behind a rupture. Okay. Now, one thing that I did miss out about the Swung Song is the fact that afterwards her blade becomes ablazed for so many seconds, granting her basic attack range, energy regen, and additional physical damage. This is very similar to Sereth's ult, so it is. I have a feeling my mask is breaking. Very similar to Sereth's ult, so it is. So she is overall going to be exceptionally powerful. Sereth is currently probably one of the top junglers at the minute. Scarlet's going to be the top jungler and possibly one of the top offlanes. So she is. In terms out there, we've got the new Celestial skins. They've finally given Sevarog a scythe. About damn time. How epic screwed the pooch on this, I will never know. But Sevarog finally has a scythe. The new skins look absolutely phenomenal though. So, Little Red Riding Hood skin for Scarlet. Very nice. Then, that's all the skin packs. New Battle Pass, Celestial Dawn. Again, skins look absolutely amazing. And then obviously, Harbingers of Ruin is now done. So it is. Twitch drops are active. Okay. Brawl mode has been re-added, so it has. Which is okay. Again, I probably will return to Brawl mode every now and then. This is going to probably be the big one. The new fucking Eternals. This is the one that I'm intrigued in because these new Eternals are going to be busted. So we have Wade. So we do. I think that's how he's pronounced. Damaging an enemy hero below 30% fires 4 plus 1 per 30% bonus attack speed projectiles that each deals damage, true damage, and apply on-hit status effects. This basically implies that it is Skylar's jetpack. That's what I'm getting from this, so it is. His minor blessings are Forge, gain 4 additional gold and 4 additional XP per minion or monster kill. That can be very strong. The only issue is gold loses its value once you hit late game. They don't have anything infinite scaling wise that can consume gold. I do remember I think it was in Paragon, where there was an item that you could infinitely buy. I think it was 2k a pop that give you a permanent 5 physical or magical damage, which is interesting, but I don't think they'll ever actually add it to this. Sorry. Dryad's Boon. Basic attacks decrease basic ability cooldowns by 0.2 seconds on hit. So they've finally returned this minor augment. So they have basically, it is an Ashbringer, but on your... It is Ashbringer only on your Eternal instead. Natural resistance. Cleanse all crowd control and gain 400 tenacity when below 25% maximum health. Cleanse 20-second cooldown. Not bad. Gives you a little bit of anti-gank ability, so it does. Wind Rider. Gain 20% total attack speed for 4 seconds after dashing, leaping, teleporting, or upon leaving stealth. This can be very strong, and I can see Sparrow abusing this. Barkskin, deal 3 plus 1 per level. Physical damage to an enemy with a basic... to the hero that basic attacks you. This damage triggers on-hit effects at 50% effectiveness. Interesting. So that's like Thorns. Thorns, I think, is the best way to describe that. Which is interesting because it is very counterintuitive. So it is, because that there would be a lot more if you're going to build a tank. If you build a tank, picking this up would be a lot better. And then you get Taproot. Basic attacks restore health on hit. So this is in contention, so it is, because this one here, Taproot, is a bit of an interesting one because it would be in contention for Marrow's healing, as well as I do believe there's a few other ones that do grant healing, possibly, that are of this class. I can't remember what one they're actually called, which is sorry. Can't remember what the actual way it's defined, because I know this one here is Dreadnought. Can't remember what the other ones are. Right, next up we have Nell. So, attacks and abilities against enemy heroes apply a stack of rust for 5 seconds. Each stack shreds 2% plus 0.2% per level. Physical armor and magical armor stacking up to 4 times. You gain 75% of the armors shredded. So, this is... You use it against a tank and you gain that tankiness, which is very dangerous, right? Frequency. Gain 2% total attack speed and 2 ability haste per rust stack currently applied. Pretty good. So it is, that can be very strong on junglers. Pentia, I believe that's, you gain 30 plus 15 shield when not taking damage for 12 seconds. Gain 4% movement speed while shield holds. So this actually will help in jungle, because having that shield active will allow you to rotate substantially faster. Dampening. Incoming damage from enemies further away than 1,100 units is reduced by 12%. Not too bad. Stops long range poking, so it does. Then you got the second minor blessing, Peel. Gain 25% ultimate ability haste. Upon casting your ultimate, attacks and abilities apply maximum stacks for 4 seconds. That's dangerous. So it does, because upon casting your ultimate, attacks and abilities apply maximum stacks of rust for 4 seconds. Fracture. Deal 4% plus level. More damage against enemies with maximum stacks of rust. This would be very similar to the way Grooks works with his Bloodlust ability. So if they have max stacks, then this one here gives you more damage. So this could be very strong on Grooks. Just to be very clear about that there. Resonant Repair. Whenever you are immobilized, restore 3% of your maximum health over 4 seconds. Again, anti-gank tools. Pillow. This one came up on YouTube today for me, because this is being recorded on the Sunday, because it's going up for the Monday before the patch actually drops. Pillow is probably one of the more dangerous ones I've seen. So it is. Major Blessing. Decrease your size by 10% upon casting an ability. Nearby heroes within 600 units. Enemy heroes within 600 units are debuffed, causing them to deal 4% decreased damage for 3.5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So not only do you decrease the size, so that means you decrease the hitbox, this will make things especially skittish, particularly skittish casters will love this. So the likes of your Gideon is a skittish one, so he is. Gideon, Rena, even Gadget could make a use of this. Morgesh will be an absolute pain in the ass for this. Bioluminescence, first minor augment. Enemies you damage take 3% bonus damage and are revealed for 4 seconds. So this pairs really well. You hit them once with one ability, you hit them again with another ability, they take 3% increased damage and are revealed. No, this is not going to be nice. Harmonic Currents. Casting ability restores 2.5% of your missing health and mana. This is very similar to one of Rena's augments. I think it's her passive augment, where every time she picks up one of her crests, she gets mana and health back, as well as a bit of gold. Good thing they haven't added the gold to this here, because that could have been very nasty. Diffusion. Increase the radius of Pillow's Pillow's debuff pulse by 50% and the duration by 1.5 seconds. Not too bad. Second minor blessing. Neurotoxin. Pillow additionally increases damage enemies take by 2% per stack. Again, that is going to be hazardous. Convection. Gain 4% physical armor, magical armor for every active stack of pillow on nearby enemy heroes. In team fights, this will make your caster very tanky. Little Sucker. Basic attack steal 2% of the target's movement speed for 3 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. This will basically ensure that you are going to be able to run down your target. As long as you can get on them, they are not, right. Good thing they put it on a caster, right? I'm not even joking, because this on Chimera could be very devastating. So it could be, because if Chimera gets on you, you are not getting away. He is going to steal 6% of your movement speed and give it to his own, which means that you're going to be slowed running away from him, and he's going to be fast running after you. So this can be very dangerous. If Chimera, Seraph, anybody gets on you with this, you're not getting away unless you have help. And then we have Satriel. Takedowns grant a stack of Fearless up to a maximum of 6 stacks. Your max health is permanently reduced by 5%, 4% for melee, 6% for range per Fearless. Gain 5% plus 5% per Fearless. Increased physical power, magical power, attack speed. Fearless is reset upon death. So this is, as it says, a volatile all or nothing glass cannon. Yeah, that's what that is. Because 5% plus 5% per Fearless. So it stacks up to 6. That's 35%. So it is. That's a 35% increase. So it is. But you're only taking one. Oh no, per Fearless. So your maximum health is also permanently reduced by 5%. Well, 4%, 6 stacks. That is very glass cannon-y. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. Minor Blessings, Demonic Bargain. Gain 350 gold at levels 1, 7, and 13. That can give you a very powerful start, because that gets you 2 tier 1 items off base, so it does. Risen, when at 3 or more Fearless stacks, gain 12% Omnivamp. That will drastically help you with your sustain. Hellfire Strikes, basic attacks deal 3.2 damage on hit. That is going to be very dangerous, because that gives you also straight up ability to melt tanks. So it does, because 2 damage is completely unaffected by everything else. That per level, so that's 1.5 per 18. Yeah, you get the idea. The damage is going to be quite heavy. Right, Minor Blessing 2, Broken Wings. Your movement speed cannot be altered by items or abilities. That's interesting. Then you've got right, ability costs an additional 5 health to cast, but you permanently gain 15 ability haste. So you're removing the cost of mana then? Interesting. And then you've got Psychosis. Deal 3.5% per level. More damage to the closest enemy hero, but 10% less damage to any other enemy heroes. That's a very 1v1 way of doing things. Then we've got some quality of life improvements, caps, despawning, fountain diving, practice mode, health, client prediction adjustments, and blink rubber banding. Thank fuck, because that's got me a few times. Enhanced airborne hero shadows, respawn inhibitor clarity, buff dropping red and blue mini buffs. Okay, mini prime now drops its buff on the floor, slightly in front of it when it dies, rather than being granted to the killer. Buff lasts for 30 seconds on the floor. Pretty good. The first ally to walk over it gets it. Enemy heroes cannot pick it up, but if it will appear grayscale for them at that location. Ah, okay. Red and blue buff for 20 minutes onwards. Red and blue buff now drop an additional buff pickup on the original spawn locations. Lasts for 30 seconds. Walks over, gets it. That's pretty good. That can hand out a second blue buff and a second red buff. That will help your offlaner as well as your carry. So it will. Tar plating has now been expanded to both the tier 1s and 2s. Ground targeting improvements. Thank fuck. Aim assist. Tuning aim assist for controllers has been adjusted to be slightly less sticky, while improving other areas of it that should make the gameplay experience smoother for controller users. Thank fuck, because I'm one of them. Item effect stat tracking. Thank fuck! I really wanted this. A variety of items now track various stats, such as how much damage they have dealt in game, among other stats, to see happy days. Recall damage over time. This is really nasty because Vash is the leading cause of this. If you get hit by Vash, this limits you. So even if you're on low health and you get clipped by a Vash, you either have to run and risk getting ganked again, or... So you get the idea at that stage. Then obviously you've got the custom additional game modes. Brawl and Labs Daybreak is back again. Daybreak is now getting more changes and stuff like that there attuned to it. Again, I can't say much due to the fact that I don't play Daybreak just yet. I want it to be somewhat of a finished map, similar to the way Legacy was whenever it returned. I want it to be like that. This is all Daybreak stuff. Obviously you've got the tournament, gameplay balances. There's been a lot of changes made, so we've already covered a few of them. So we have, obviously, aim assist fixed, blink and dash rubber banding fixed, fountain diving fixed, ground targeting, item stat tracking, in-air shadows, recalls, size decrease, all good. Jungle now, so let's see, we are removing the ability to dirty a jungle camp by leaving one alive. Oh, okay. Camps with multiple units, the 2, 3, 4, and 5, will now despawn after 10 seconds of being out of combat if the camp leader is killed. Perfect. So it is. That's perfect. Blue buff now drops the second buff. We already knew about that. Scion now also grants the killer 25% maximum energy regen instantly. Good. Mini Prime no longer grants the buff, instead drops on the floor. Okay, red buff now drops the second one. Fine. River buff now also grants the killer 15 energy regen for 5 seconds instead of just a flat amount. Nice. Enhanced gives 25 regen. Sweet. Tars again, the plating has been added and the inhibitors will indicators now display purple material, better highlighting to players that they cannot attack. Sweet. Eternal's balancing. This is going... Hang on, there's actually one key point that I have to actually scroll back up here to actually show you something, right? So, there we go. There it is there. The balance overview. Reductions to the strength of basic attacks for the majority of ranged heroes at level 1, thereby reducing their strength as ranged offlaners. That was one of the things that I did want to bring up before I got into the whole Eternal hero and item balancing. So, that's what I wanted to get to. So, Vermis is going to be an interesting. So Cauterize has been removed and replaced by Mecha Drive. So it has. Can't remember what its effect particularly was. But Mecha Drive, basic attacks reduce your secondary ability cooldown by 10% on hit, reduced to 5% against non-heroes. This is situation dependent, depending on who you're being and do they have a really powerful secondary ability. That's all I have to say. Marrow has got a soft rework, heals for damage dealt to heroes increased up to based on missing health, effectiveness of AoE attacks. Yep, grand. Rose, bonus takedown goal now capped at 100 after 5 takedowns. Hero kills now grant 50% of the blessing. Okay, that's not too bad. Thorax, I think that's how it's pronounced. Attack speed has been decreased from 1.25 to 1. Grand. King, basic attack gold decreased from 7 to 6. Again, I don't see the reason for the golding. Yes, the gold will give you an advantage early game, but the only problem is it falls off badly late game. That's one of the major things. There's probably something that's probably a bit better. Nahil, they're reversing one of the stat changes. Crix, Feeding Frenzy, radius reduced from 1,500 to 1,200. Okay. Lotus, can't pronounce it. Damage reduction decreased from 15% to 12%. That's good. Masterpiece, takedown damage decreased from 5% to 4%. That's not too bad. Ions, Major Blessing, gold gain from ability damage decreased from 7 to 6. Grand. Sacrifice, damaging an enemy hero with ability grants missing regeneration over 5 seconds. Hero kills also regenerate 20% of missing mana. That's very nice balancing. Acheron, we've had a few very powerful Acherons in our times. We have, and I'm kind of curious because he's kind of a shadow pick, to be fair. If you know how to be him, right? So Hellfire primary, Hellfire's decreased. Okay, decreased. Acheron got nerfs. Simple. That's it. Argos, Mana Catalyst augment no longer restores mana. Mana when hitting non-heroes. Mana restored from hitting heroes increased from 10 to 12%. Ooh, that's going to be a bit of a hindrance. Particle Shredder decreased. Argos nerfs. Countess, health growth increased and damage increased. Buffs. Crunch, lunge crunch augment additional distance increased from 10 to 15%. Okay. Falcon Crunch, lovely. And Power Grounds increased and airtime cooldown decreased. Buffs for Crunch. Decker, simple nerfs. Grand. Decker is a very powerful in-lane character, so I'm not surprised about that there. Decker is the quintessential support, so I'm actually not surprised that she did actually get hit by a small nerf. It stops her in-lane presence. It hits her a little bit on that. Drongo, general nerfs, but, well, balancing we'll go with, because physical power has been decreased, but the power growth has increased. So, balanced. Then we have Eden. We have his augment, talent glance, cooldown, refunded, charge from 1 second to 10% total. 1 second to 10% total. Oh, very nice, okay. General, obviously, decreased, increased, and then Helios Core, passive, heat generation modifier, decreased. Overall, I would put this as a nerf. Fang Mao, very powerful at the minute. Health growth decreased. Hamstring decreased, and Earth Shatter decreased. Fang Mao got nerfed. Gadget now correctly shreds magical armor. I would take this as a buff, because if it's now correctly shredding magical armor, means that it's doing the damage it's meant to do. It's unless I see it, because it's a bug fix, it could have swung either way. It could have been too broken or not broken enough. So we'll go with instead of buffs or nerfs, we're gonna call it balanced. Greystone now correctly shreds magical armor, which is Makeway's primary. Again, balanced. Grim we are at is a nerf. See Decker's section for context. Yeah. Howitzer's not a carry though, but he got nerfed as well. Akira, this is one of the really interesting ones because he's very powerful at the minute. Cascade augment no longer applies on hit effects. Good. Rework basic attacks. Grant a stack at 5 stacks. The next direct brine deals bonus magical damage. Ability hits. Grant 12% attack speed. Stacking up to 4 times once per ability. Grand. Undertow augment, cooldown refund decreased. That's a nerf. General power nerf. Necrosis stun duration decreased. Nerf. Brine magical power scaling decreased. Nerf. So Akira got overall nerfed. So they really are handing out. They really are handing out the nerf bat at the minute. So they are. Iggy and Scorch. Physical power decreased. Physical power growth increased. Okay. And then his passive Badlands Critter. Fix an issue where Badlands Critter could deal double damage if Iggy ignites a target with a single stack on them. This I'm going to imply is a nerf because it's a bug fix, but it's the way that it's specifically worded. Fix an issue where Badlands Critter could deal double damage if Iggy ignites a target with a single stack on them. That basically is a nerf. So you're no longer getting your double damage. Now in saying that though, I'm happy that they did do this here because in one of my previous videos, which you will not have seen because I was recording it for a different thing, Iggy mopped the floor with our Sevarog. Chimera! Bug fixes. Chimera's increased attack speed, no longer lines at... What? No longer lingers. Sorry, I'm assuming that's meant to be lingers after the effect ends. Chimera's basic attacks should no longer feel desynced while Unleash is active or hitting a target after it has finished. Grand. Legion, again, Dagger for context. Same thing there. Again, same thing there. So, nerfs. Moragesh is going to be an interesting one. Spirit Shred Augment, now correctly shreds magical armor. Again, balance, depends on which side it was on. And then decreased physical power, and then increased physical growth. So basically everybody's getting hit with the initial nerf. So it does, because there's another nerf as well. Murdoch, again, the same. So it is, physical power has dropped, but growth has increased. Physical power has dropped, but growth has increased. These are both balanced. So they are. Narbash, now correctly shreds magical armor. That's a balancing. Neon, fixed an issue where Neon could recast Final Thread while rooted. That's a nerf. Anyway, Phase, physical power decreased. Blink cooldown on hit increased from 1 to 2.5. That could be a nerf. Looks like a nerf. Rampage, size modifier changed from minus 43 to minus 33. He doesn't get as small because once you got tiny Rampage going after you, there's not really much you can do. Revenant, nerfed. Richter, Zappo changed, which is his primary. Damage per level increased. Not bad. General power, physical power increased as well. And then his electrocution, pulse damage modifier increased as well. That's pretty good. Richter got buffs. Shimby, line tempo primary. Upon hitting a target, the wolf now deals 60% damage to minions that are hit afterwards. Damage increased. Okay. Power scaling increased. Upon hitting a target, the wolf now deals 60% damage to minions that are hit afterwards. This will severely hamper her lane clear, which means that she will not be as overwhelmingly powerful in offlane. That's the best way I can put that. Again, same balancing for Skylar, which is good because it means it has no effect on the projects I'm making at the minute. Then we've got Sparrow, which gets the same, and then Relentless, max health damage decrease from 0.3 to 0.25. This is a nerf, so overall, nerf. It leans more into the nerfing, so it does. Steel, fix an issue where Steel could blink during his ultimate. This has happened a few times to me as well. And then we've got Terra, Axe of Retrieval, now grants Highland Herald, 15. Ooh, that makes this the strongest. This makes this the strongest augment for Terra. We have seen what I can do with Terra. This makes it the strongest. There's no argument here. The Fae, again, same balancing. Twin Blast, I'm kind of curious about this one now. Physical power decreased, so this is balanced. Vaporize, on hit modifier increased. On hit modifier increased from, okay. Cooldown changed. Okay, so that's a buff. Cooldown decreased, buffed. Twin Blast got buffs. Wraith, balanced. Zinx, let's see. Terminal treatment, additional dot damage dealt decreased from 50% to 35%. Zinx got taken out the back, double barrel to the back of the head, and both barrels let loose. Max, was it health decreased again? Physical power decreased again. Mana decreased again. Mana regen decreased as well, and her bat has been increased as well. Double barrel back of the head. Triage protocol passive. Cooldown increased. Youch. Zinc's got... Zinc's... I don't think I like that. Well, actually, I love that because Zinc's is a pain in the ass. Right, item balancing. Health decreased, cost increased, sale value increases to go with it. Not bad. Ruthless Thought now correctly shreds. Ashbringer now correctly triggers. Viper now correctly shreds. Manta Scythe, divide and conquer, isolated damage decreased, so you're no longer as strong as you could be in a 1v1. Omen, bestial momentum refund decreased from 25 to 20. Good, because Omen's always very strong. Augmentation, cost decreased, but physical power increased. That's a buff. That's a good buff for augmentation. I like that. Right, now correctly shreds. Berserker's Axe. This is going to be an interesting one. Physical power increased. Okay. Health decreased. Not okay. Blitz slow duration to 45. Slow duration increased. Okay. Mutilator. Mutilator now applies its basic attack effect against minions and monsters. That's very strong. Mutilator is capped at 20 against... Okay, that's not too bad. There's a limit to it. Good. Rebirth, now cost increase, so this is going to be a nerf overall. Fix an issue with a possible blink. Yeah, that's okay. Magnify, now correctly shreds. Curse Scroll gets nerfed. I have no arguments to this. They have overall, in my opinion, they have overall nerfed everybody, so they have. There's been a few buffs put in there, but I think overall everybody's been nerfed in conjunction to the new Eternals being added. Everybody has been individually, in my opinion, nerfed quite heftily. Now, this is overwhelmingly good, but with the new Scarlet Hero coming in, this is going to be quite devastating as well, depending on how powerful she ends up being. The new Eternals are going to be absolutely savage. Fun fact, though, we are missing one Eternal. We have 4 of the 5 categories, so we're missing one specific Eternal. I'm assuming that they probably couldn't get it running before this patch came out, so I'm not going to complain. Or they probably couldn't balance it, or whatever way it happened. But no, all in all, from where I'm sitting, this is going to look very good. It doesn't interfere with any of my projects whenever it comes to Predecessor, so I'm quite happy about that. But overall, Scarlet is, if you've seen her trailer, you will understand how absolutely goated this character is going to be. And she is going to be insta-banned whenever it comes to ranked. We already know this, we're never going to see her in ranked. And considering I'm on my path to Predecessor ranking journey, it's going to be a long time before she's actually playable, because Akira is still getting hit with the nerf bot. Adele's still getting hit with the nerf bot. Nerf bot. People are still getting hammered by the nerf bot, by the bans. So, by the ban hammer. Yeah, ban hammer, that's it. There are still characters that are getting hit. Come on, Adele wasn't actually in these patch notes, so that's probably another thing that I have to bring up too. But anyway, all in all, I think this is a very good patch, and it lays the foundation for what's to come. I'm happy. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe if you didn't enjoy. And remember guys, not everything goes to plan. Bye!